usually just one. Team who places the most observer rewards by game end. XERXIA feels like they've been a lot more on point with the obsing. Total number of towers killed before 25. This usually is, this lineup, maybe just 6 to 10 by 25. Player who places the most observer rewards by 15. Teehee's been pretty on point in that, so Teehee, and there you go.
One of those things, I think your options might be correct as well. Like you're warding against a Venomancer, right? Like Boom Boy, he might just be like, we don't need wards. I've got Plague wards. We're cool. Here we go. Battle of the balloons in the mid lane. I mean, why the hell not? They are very cute balloons, by the way, Jonathan. Very cute.
They are. They even have flappy wings there. Also saw some... Immediately from Rupido. Right? Had some all chat coming out. I think Lucify was asking IYD double down. Haha, goes in your dream. And they all ran into each other a lot in those pubs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it? He's going to be able to back off. You don't really want to have to fight against the Undying right now. It's not fun with Decay. Jocam's going to show up though. They do at least have a couple stuns here. Spear is out. Teehee can be pushed back, but Ken does pick it up. That's actually a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of XERXIA. So a nice little net worth advantage getting this game to underway. And of course, we'll start off with the mid lane, as we always do. You're going to have that signature Alacrity Meepo against the Ember Spirit of JG. John, it's been a long time since you and I have seen Meepo in the mid lane. Who has the hero advantage? What are we looking out for?
I'd say the Ember actually doesn't have too bad of a time. Meepo is going to need level 3 to really feel alive here. And JG should just be able to play around with his Flame Guard, play around with Slide of Fist, still be able to control that creep wave a little bit better. The awkward thing for Meepo is, without the small camp, his jungling with the Divided We Stand clones just doesn't feel as good. Like, that small camp just... I mean, you could try the large camps, but you're going to need to dedicate the main Meepo there as well. You're going to have to juggle around. So that gives JG a pretty free lane. If you're not careful, the Ember can just escalate super fast. Phase boots and Orb Corrosion timing up against a really squishy Meepo that's fairly easy to burn down.
Yeah. What about those side lanes, Jonathan? What's going on there? Top lane, of course, the Undying currently chasing down Jocam, Mizu, and Ken going at it as well towards the north. Mizu does land a very nice spear onto Ken. The creep wave actually just really getting through the HP pool of Ken, so he's got to be a little bit cautious, but let's have some old stick charges. He's going to be all right. Tries to connect back with the creep wave, does connect with the range creep, but Mizu's got another spear up, so Ken, kind of in dire straits right now, does need to be very cautious.
And they're getting some good aggression out early on. Like, the TAs, level 1, level 2 are just not great. Especially if you go for the melt to try to harass. The Mars can just kind of control you really well, and with Teehee cut off, Ken is just a sitting duck. So good read from Mizu to just apply that pressure, pull back the wave, fix the equilibrium back to normal, and just go back to farming. Ken just gonna have to try to catch up. He needs Teehee around, he needs some EXP, but once you have some of that up, it does become a little bit more manageable here.
In that bot lane, Lucify and Rupido, Boom Boy, and In Your Dream going at it. Hard to know who has the advantage in this one. Like, the thing is with the Dawnbreaker, it's such a lane-dominant hero. You never know. Just one Celestial Hammer into a Starbreaker, and it's just so much damage output, even against the Ursa and Veno. But now, Boom Boy doing his absolute best to chip away at the HP pool of the Dawnbreaker. More tangos to be brought out here by Rupido to make sure he can remain in this lane, and it's just going to be standard against the Venomancer. You can't really avoid buying more regen. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, you're just going to have to dive into those resources. Boom Boy should have a good time here. Again, just with the Gale and Poison Sting, Rupido can't really back off there. There's only so much Lucify can do. He does get a good D ward on the camp, so can have a pull point as well to equalize the lane if he wants. But In Your Dream is farming pretty alright. It's not amazing free farm. Rupido is still finding his own CS. So you're pretty happy anyway on the side of XERXIA. Like, the impact of Boom Boy, it's there, but it's not as annoying as it could be just yet.
I think for In Your Dream anyway, he has got the Diffusal build-up going, or at least queued up, and it does seem like he's accepted that Alacrity is going to be the real carry this game, perhaps. You're going to have kind of those two position twos as top lane. Teehee Being chased down, does go down. Joe Cam able to secure a first blood on the Snapfire. Very nice start here for NGXE in their offlane.
Just catch him out a little bit far out. And it goes for a little bit of a reset as well, although you do have mangoes on hand now for Teehee, so when he spawns up, should be alright. Ken is happy enough with the space to get dragged pretty far away from him, so you get some room to just farm up himself. And unlike the side of NGXE, Ken has to be that hyper carry. Like, you will enjoy the farm on JG as well. TA has some very early spikes.
In your dream, he keeps going. He wants the man fight, but Rupido has the backup of Lucify. Risky attempt there from the Ursa, though I suppose he just thought he wasn't getting out anyway. So he may as well just kind of accept his own death.
Dan, you have to respect that output coming here from the side of XERXIA. Like, if Boomboy is not around, the Ursa can be a sitting duck. You've got control, you've got attack damage reduction with a Fade Bolt. It becomes very hard for In Your Dream to just focus in, and he doesn't have any points in Overpower to try to get some fast swipes off. So, have to watch that spacing there. Good read coming out from XERXIA once more. They've got a good forward ward to tell if Boomboy's around. So every time he kind of leaves that area and he's not in lane, they know they've got room to kind of be aggressive.
Chains out mid lane. Alacrity. Quite a bit of HP on that Meepo, but we'll send it back to the fountain for a reset. No, he'll stick around mid lane and just clear out the wave. You know, do you ever miss the times, John? You would have remembered this time back in the day where you, in fact, hold that thought, because bottom lane, Boomboy's in trouble now. The Starbreaker going to be able to secure the kill, but In Your Dream going to try and trade and get something done. Lucify going to be dropping very low on the Rubik. Will eat his stitch charges, still has a Fairy Fire up, will keep going. In Your Dream is copying a fair bit now. Rupido, he might go for this, but oh, a nice juke on the hammer. And the turnaround, In Your Dream, the Starbreaker, it's not going to be enough. The cookie, it's there in time, and Rupido, he will drop, oh, the Fairy Fire, but it's not going to be enough. In Your Dream barely survives. Had he not sidestepped the Celestial Hammer, it would not have happened. Meanwhile, mid lane, Alacrity, barely surviving on the Meepo.
He gets to bail out in nick of time. He is getting a lot of build-up now in the Meepo. He's been very successful just dipping into the large camp, still getting that build-up you'd want on this hero. And he's hitting his level spikes here.
Yeah, Teehee, chase down, Ensnare is there, Soul Rip not going to help him out too much. He'll eat the Fairy Fire as well. Mango popped, nothing going to happen with it though. Alacrity able to pick up his first kill of the game on the Meatball's bot lane. More team fights to break out. 3 heroes here from NGXE. Don't want XERXIA to dominate this mid lane, or rather bot lane anymore, as mid lane. JG being ensnared up. Needs to be very careful against this Meepo. Naturally, he's not really going to be able to keep up with the levels of the Meepo. That's just kind of the inherent hero disadvantage that the Ember does have. Nobody really keeps up with the Meepo, to be fair. Alacrity, he'll go right back to the jungle, keep that farm going. John, the question I had for you earlier is, you ever miss the days where Meepo, it was all about blink poof? Like, remember those days where you just blinked all you blinked one Meepo in and just destroyed somebody, just blew them up completely?
Yeah, I mean, it's still about that, right? Like, that's still the build-up you go for. You just delay for a couple of stats items so you're not completely squishy. So, we'll still see that eventually from Alacrity after the two Dragon Lances are up. Go for the blink, and then just try to melt some heroes early on. But that timing has to be perfect. Side of XERXIA, they're not that far behind despite this weirder start in the kill board not in their favor. Less than 1k lead coming out for NGX, and that is all in on Alacrity. Everyone else is kind of lagging behind.
Yeah. Quarter 2 now. Very slight net worth lead the way of NGXE. Alacrity obviously top the net worth board right now on that Meepo. Again, this is to be expected. Meepo is still one of the fastest farming heroes you can pick up in Dota 2. And you've got one of the best playing it. Make sure to keep that net worth advantage as JG tries for an illusion rune, is not going to get it as JoeCam does deny it off, and now the ensnares are there. Soul Rip will keep him alive as JoeCam does use the little shredder to take down the tombstone of Teehee. Side able to find a kill there, as you are really seeing the dominance of the Meepo against heroes like the Ember, who naturally wants to be very mobile. Just that ensnare, it's such a painful experience here for JG.
Is not able to weave himself in and out as much. It gives Alacrity a pretty good window to just harass, get his really big damage off. The Ransack already being maxed out here as well. Could be looking for an opportunity bot, TPing the main Meepo down here. Rupido.
Chase down. Alacrity's going to be there. Should have the lockdown as well. Ensnare. It will connect. Starbreaker. Still going to work. Actually, a very nice stun through the Ensnare, and that's one way to deal with it. Rupido, he will survive.
Yeah, I mean, once you toss out the Earthbind, it doesn't stop you from still getting the Starbreaker. It just stops the movement. So he holds on. He just fends off from that gank all by himself. They get to cancel the TPs here in XERXIA, and they get to just keep farming up. Ken is in the jungle. He's actually within striking range of Alacrity's net worth. The TA having a fantastic time, but all the space given out to Ken now. And you've still got Mizu and Boomboy up top. They are still ready to go. Arena's set. If they catch out Ken, that's a kill, but Ken's not really looking to poke too much. Just wants that farm, and as long as he builds up, you're pretty happy here in XERXIA's end.
Net worth lead still staying less than 1k. You've got to give props to the TA as well this game, John. Ken doing a fantastic job of keeping up his mid lane, and snares out again onto JG. There's going to be a Solar Guardian. Chains out. They'll lock him down. Rupido trying to move in, but now Mizu with a nice rotation. Going to make sure the Dawnbreaker cannot pursue any further. And let's be frank, Alacrity, he was way too tanky anyway. He was not dying.
Yeah, they hold on trying to drop all the remnants there, so JG doesn't try to go for the bomb. And you do have way too much stats on Racti. One Dragon Lance up, second one coming out next. Just a lot of durability on that Meepo right now, which you will need maybe your TA to come in for, which, you know, right now Ken is still clearing out ancient stacks and massive stacks built up for him. A little bit of a clump up by NGXC up top right after that kill, and Lucify.
That's cookie. Lucify going to get caught. No chance of survival. Another kill here for Mizu. Very nice setup there with the cookie of Joe Camp.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's Lucify. He did steal the Plague Wards away from Boomboy. A nice spell to have as the Rubik in this kind of game, because you can just gain so much information and vision for your team, but you have to give him up now. Not that they're too hard to steal anyway. You can get it back anytime, basically. Top T1 tower. Gonna be under siege. Question is, do you bother trying to defend if you are XERXIA? It seems like the answer is probably going to be no. Mizu, he's tanking quite a bit of tower damage, so they aren't going to be able to keep the Siege Reap alive in the end. It does go down, but they will stick around. Maybe just wanting to continue chipping away at that tier 1 tower. Tihi, the only man around to try and help defend this is the Undying. Does have level 3 decay, so he does have some decent wave clear. Lucify to also show up. NGXC, they do certainly have the greater numbers. They also have that arena on Mizu. Problem is Mizu's being watched by the Observer Ward there of Tihi.
Gold and sweet.
And NGX, they brought Alacrity's clone up as well, so they theoretically have 4 heroes ready to go.
They can just jump smoke out here from the side. Broken by JG immediately, though. Not going to be able to sneak around. The numbers do come out from XERXIA. Top is still being slowly pinged away by these wards, though. Boomboy just being a massive nuisance. But that is still space. Ken still farming. You're pretty fine. Mid is being shoved. That's where the TPs come in.
Yeah, no T1 to drop. I suppose for NGXC, they'll be happy to come back for that later. It's not like they've lost their own bottom tier 1. In Your Dream's having a fantastic time down at that bot lane, just farming up on the Ursa. He's kept that tier 1 tower very well protected. It's the thing with the draft of XERXIA as well. Being against the Meepo Ursa, you probably are going to want to take a bit of time to get that initial farm up, especially on Ken. You already see him build into that Chrysalis, and I think that's a decent item instead of the Deso. Because you really do want to just burst one of the Meepo clones down. Like, you don't necessarily want the prolonged damage of the Desolator. You'd much rather have the burst damage of the crit here against the Meepo clones. And as well as that, he's working right into a BKB afterwards. So just realizing as the TA, he does need to be able to fight early on. Because this Meepo is going to hit a timing rather soon. Especially once the blink is up.
Yeah, he's just about to get into it for Alacrity. Double Dragon Lance up, lots of stats to play with. Very durable on every single Meepo clone he has. They are making moves on bot.
They are. Reina is down. Mizu, though, has been caught and will drop Alacrity with a 3-man ensnare. Solar Guardian is going to be there to help out with the triple stun. The Lucify has gone down, and Rupido, he's copying way too much damage from the Mortimer's Kisses, so they continue. Teehee is going to take a lot of this damage from this Meepo, but they miss the Scatter Blast. It snares out Rupido, back in with the Starbreaker, but where's your follow-up damage? It's not there, Alacrity. He's just so tanky with this double Dragonlance build-up, and tips are there from Mizu. No one can deal with the Meepo quite yet.
It's just too big. They're going for more, too.
Great cookie from Jokam. It's near. Not going to be there. Oh, no. JG. He'll still get the remnant towards the north. Cookie from Lucify. The Meepo finally low Alacrity. Oh, he's going to die. They've gone too far this time around. In your dream, he'll try for the TP out. They've got no way to cancel. At least you get the Ursa away. But I'd say the Meepo is a much bigger target.
Definitely is. On the edge there for JG. The net misses from Alacrity. Does manage to dance around, dodge out with a slight, move forward with a remnant, and that's more than enough for XERXIA to find that big kill. Keeps themselves in the game, less than 1k lead their way. Smoke out here from XERXIA as well. A regen for JG might find a freebie.
They may. Jokam will get caught out, does end up going down. Nice there. Little pick off onto the Snapfire. And is that the thing with XERXIA's draft? Like, is it all about prolonging the game long enough? In fact, hold that thought, because in your dream, he's in big trouble. No help around him. He's just going to try and run the old-fashioned way, and he gets caught out and taken down. The thing is, Jokam just died around the Radiant Triangle. He just wasn't able to get back in time.
And that's a big kill. Like, that's the two big cores being taken out back-to-back now for XERXIA's end. They find everything they want. You do have this blink timing up on Alacrity, so we're about to hit that mid-game spike where the Meepo is a bit ridiculous. We should be able to just make some plays now off the back of that. We've got to see them kind of use it in a big way.
This is a big one. The snares out. Alacrity will hold him down. Solar Guardian, though, buying a bit of time as Ken. Fighting back, and now Rupido, the Starbreaker. Alacrity, he's dropping low himself.
Oh.
Poison Nova's there. Ken still trying to run. Eventually will drop. Teehee, he does get the Meepo down. In fact, it was Lucify on the Rubik, but in your dream, he'll keep the fight going. Mortimer's Kisses onto the Dawnbreaker. Will take him out. A 3-for-3 trade. Though again, I ask the question, is that bad for the Dire?
I'd say no. I think you're pretty happy for XERXIA. You're again throwing off this Meepo. You're forcing these rotations out from In Your Dream. He does want to be aggressive with his build-up on the Diffusal, but his presence doesn't feel too annoying yet. And you're getting much more coming out here for JG. Like, sure, the TA farm is important. I think in the early point in the game, JG's farm is a lot more impactful. Maelstrom timing into BKB will allow him to fight against the Meepo very effectively. So you don't mind that. Yeah, you lose your TA. Ken wants to build up and is the one to get all the space in the jungle. But for JG, that's some much needed kills for him to find. And with the Maelstrom slowly approaching, you will have some magical damage to bounce through onto the Meepos to help soften them up for something like the TA to clean up.
Top lane. They'll go back for the tier 1 now in GXC. Will drop. Eventually, the fortification will be forced out, but TPs are not incoming here from XERXIA. They can try to trade the bottom tier 1, but it's going to be a bit of a slower process here. Thing is, in GXC, they're not going to try and defend this, so it will eventually just drop. Ken's still top of the net worth board on the TA, doing a brilliant job here on this carry. But I really do appreciate the fact that he went back for the Chrysalis instead of the Deso this game. As now Roshan gets started. You do have the Ursa, you do have a Meepo, you want to try and rush this. JG, trying to get some vision. Teehee, he'll drop the Tombstone. Mizu is there though with a very nice arena, and with the little Shredder, they've gotten rid of the Tombstone. Roshan still dropping. JG, he can't even get close. Alacrity will be the one to pick up the Aegis on the Meepo. So NGXA do get away with a pretty big objective for themselves now.
Yeah, it's a big thing to take. Like, secondary life on Alacrity. We see how long it takes for Alacrity to fall in these fights as well. Going to be tough for XERXIA to find that secondary life, it feels like. You do have the BKB up on Ken, and the Maelstrom pretty much, well, the BKB first for JG as well. So they prioritize durability, they prioritize dodging out this damage spike from Alacrity. And that might make the blink poof just feel a lot less impactful, though I don't really mind too much as long as you do manage to get the follow through there from In Your Dream. We'll see how much XERXIA can get done with a spell immunity, as it does cut off the Meepo fairly well. But you still have to worry about In Your Dream kind of jumping you anyway.
Absolutely. And when the Daedalus comes out on Ken, that could be a scary point. Not too far off it either. T1 mid tower, that's going to be the focus now of NGXC.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
Alacrity will
fortified.
get to work. No real fear in the world as his team is right behind him, just smoked up. Teehee, again being caught out. A nice arena from Mizu, just locking down that pos fires of his Rupido, also dropping Teehee. He will eventually go down. Boom Boy, he will be traded, but that's still a positive trade for NGXC. Still, here comes Ken, trying to get some damage off onto Alacrity as JG is trying to back his way out on the Ember. That go back in for the buyback of Jokam, but the Remnants aren't going to do enough quite yet. Meanwhile, Mizu has found Lucify on the Rubik, trying to force them back. It's not going to be enough, and In Your Dream, he's got it onto JG. They found the Ember instead. They'll let the Rubik live. It's a much better kill here for NGX.
Tower has fallen.
And another successful team fight for the Radiant side.
And they make it work. They just force out that engagement. XERXIA just not ready. They use their BKBs pretty well, but just get ripped to shreds. And Mizu just showing up on this Mars, getting great arenas off, always managing to get the Bulwark off before the steal comes in from Lucify, so you never get anything useful for the Rubik. He has to focus on different heroes. But it just feels like you really want that Mars for the control. Probably your best bet. Maybe it's time to start to think about just stealing from Jokam. The Blast, the Cookie are all pretty big to have, as Mizu's just way too quick with his fingers.
Mid lane, Lucify. Barely avoid the ensnare there of Alacrity. Rather the Earthbind, excuse me. Top side, Rupido is farming the Dire jungle, so Alacrity might be able to spot him out. Won't do so yet. While all this is happening, In Your Dream, working on towards the Basher, almost has it up and available. Make life even harder now for XERXIA. There it is. Basher now available on the Ursa. NGXC, they understand their spike. They want to go for that top tier 2 into the outpost and try to secure that next Roshan. Daedalus now up on the TA though. Ken, he's TP'd in with no mana. He's got a Clarity going, but it's a little bit awkward with that low of a mana. Luckily for him, the fight isn't broken out, and in fact, they're going to smoke anyway. Alacrity, they see the clone. In Your Dream's right by him. They don't want him though, they want Boom Boy first on that Venomancer. Just get rid of the easier targets, get rid of those supports. Poison Nova's going to be popped anyway, and Alacrity, he'll still jump in onto JG, forcing out the BKB. Meanwhile, the Tombstone, nobody's focusing it down. Alacrity, he'll get stunned up by Rupido, but is still alive as Teehee. He's the one in danger, trying to survive. He has a Soul Rip, he'll hold on. There's your Decay. The Soul Rip never comes out, but it won't matter. He does die. The Aegis is gone on Alacrity as Mizu. He'll jump back in. Spear is out onto Ken. They've got the TA locked down. Lucify trying to survive. Solar Guardian is there onto the Meepo. Cookie, but what a Starbreaker. Onto 4 heroes. Still the TA is going to melt to the damage of the Meepos. Now JG's called out. Mizu just locking everyone down. Full team wipe. In fact, Lucify, he brought back on the Rubik, but he can't do anything. And Mizu with these spears, he has been landing every single one.
Yeah, he's been carrying this. He's been enabling all this movement out from NGX. All the great arenas, all the great spears, splitting up these fights, forcing awkward angles out from XERXIA, and they just get speared up. JG gets speared. Well, we saw Ken get speared up as well. He's just been doing phenomenal on the Mars, and Alacrity's just been there to follow through. He loses the Aegis. They do have the damage on XERXIA. They're showing us that this Meepo is not invincible. With the Daedalus up on Ken, you've got some damage to kind of deal with it, but they need more. That's a massive loss now. 21 to 12 in NGXC's favor. Again, when things are tough, they fall back to Alacrity with that Meepo. And they're always ready to kind of enable that. And as we're seeing out from Mizu, as we're seeing out as well from JoeCam and Boomboy. Like, they've been willing to sacrifice if need be. The presence of this Poison Nova, it's also been a nightmare for Ken. Like, when the BKB fades, that Boomboy just has so much presence, and the TA, without the blink, is just kind of stuck in place.
Yeah, very, very tough. Here you go again. Smoke out from XERXIA, but you kind of wonder where they go with the smoke. And your Dream's going to find a double damage rune as well on the Ursa. Boomboy going to make sure he does secure it for himself. This smoke amounts to nothing. It does at least allow the Dire End to just get a relocation to the jungle and have some space to farm up. They do need the space right now, even if Ken is top net worth. Needs a lot more on this TA to be that powerhouse they need him to be. In NGXC, they know exactly where they are. They'll smoke up themselves now. The double damage, it will wear off soon, but that's not really the point. All spells are up. They want to go for the fight. They know how powerful they are right now in NGXC. Ken, in position to break the smoke, does do so. Onto In Your Dream and JoeCam, as BKB is preemptively popped by the TA, just in case they drop the arena. And he will just back his way out, but now he's got no BKB for Fight Breaks up.
Yeah, it's a big win for the side of NGXC. If they just manage to find the angle in, Ken's not going to have a self-save. It does look like NGXC are also playing patiently, though. They're not going to be forcing the issue. They didn't see that BKB pop themselves. So they're just going to have to cut back, take what resources they can, keep this build up. You are working onto the Ags here for Alacrity, so we will see that dig. The new and improved dig, which I believe we've seen Alacrity use before as well. Gonna complicate these fights as, well, the Meepos are gonna be that much harder to kill.
It certainly will be. It's a lot of regen. 40% over 4 seconds of the max HP. Pretty ridiculous. Very annoying, especially in the middle of a team fight, trying to keep tabs of which Meepo you're trying to go after, and he just digs, and you just can't get him anyway. Suddenly becomes invulnerable. Very, very annoying indeed. XERXIA wards out in the Dire jungle. Mizu, oh, that's a quick lift up. Lucify not having it this time around. Forcing the BKB out of the Mars. They might still have an opportunity at going after Teehee, but with the Tombstone there, they do not feel safe. It's a hard location to try and secure the Tombstone kill. BKB of Mizu down. And GXC, they might just have to sit back and relax for a little bit. Roshan is up in a minute and a half after all. You'd rather save everything till then. Problem is, XERXIA, they do get their outpost back in that Dire jungle. So NGXC don't really have that kind of control in the Dire jungle anymore. Could allow an opening now for the Dire team. Just having access to their own jungle. And I think it is going to be more about just waiting for Roshan now for either side.
Yeah, just a patience game. A minute left on the respawn. NGXC has a big advantage going into the area. They've just been able to play around with their team fight so well. They've got a lot of AoE presence. They've been able to cut off Ken every single time. He does have that blink up, but I mean, you're still playing into the Veno. Once that BKB fades, you just have so many ways of getting kited around, and NGXC, they've managed to balance between In Your Dream and Alacrity so fine here.
They aren't going to go for the chase yet, but Tornado is down. Chains are there. They cancel off the poof into the Solar Guardian. Mizu, he's dropped the arena, but it's not going to... Starbreaker, Alacrity's gone. Immediate buyback. XERXIA, they need to retreat. GG, he's fine to Remnant. They have wasted the buyback of Alacrity. That's a huge win for XERXIA.
That's massive. At the least, Roshan only 20 seconds away. So if NGXC play it patiently, they should be able to see that next Rosh, and they should be able to compensate for that buyback with a secondary life. XERXIA, they just see an opportunity, they take it. This we've seen from them in Game 1. They're very good at eyeing out these small openings that NGXC creates and just dogpile onto them to find an advantage. Getting the build-up they want. I mean, Butterfly coming out next here for Ken. A little bit of evasion to dodge out from Meepo hits. Roche quickly melting to the side of NGXE. I wonder if they give the shard up. Nah, they won't give it. In your dream will take it. I wanted to see the Meepo shards that divide we stand fling toss to a target. Sounds funny. I don't know how good it is, but it sounds really funny.
It doesn't sound very good, but I haven't seen it in a pro match yet. So to be fair, we haven't seen it. I think Alacrity doesn't think it's very good either, John, to be fair. He probably would have had it a long time ago. But it does sound very funny indeed. Observer will drop on the high ground of the Dire base, prepping. They'll see Rupido. They won't go for the speed back yet on the Dawnbreaker. Oh, he's going to be careful in your dream. Immediate jump in. Disarm is there. Lift is up. Lucify, making sure they cannot catch the Dawn.
Yeah, good saves from XERXIA. NGXC, one little pierce onto the high ground and the game could just change entirely here for XERXIA. They do force the TPs down bot. They saw the shove in from Teehee and Ken. So they do want to prevent any sort of split push from happening, but majority of the heroes are still stuck at mid. They don't have the Morris for the team fight. Mizu not going to be around in that mid area. So if XERXIA reads that, could be their opportunity to fight, but it does look like, again, with the ages up, caution's the name of the game here.
I'm gonna give props to the Dire again, John. The fact that they're still in this game. This TA, Ken, still top of the net worth board. It's impressive. There's the Ags up now, so you've got that digging coming. JG, gonna be spotted. We'll juke out the Earthbind. GXC. Still going to be fine. They're just making sure that they're in position to be able to defend that high ground whenever they need to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom lane. TP's in to try and defend the tier 2 tower. Ken has traps, can slow down the Ursa, but needs a way out of this. There are heroes coming in from the south. Ken's going to try for the TP away, and the spear again. Mizu! Oh, Mizu! He just flows like water throughout this game too, John. This man does not miss.
It's been on point. Like, they get a good read as to where Ken goes. They find a punishment. Ken just playing as best as he can, you know, split pushing where he can, trying to get that build up into the butterfly, just is punished for it. And now Alacrity with Dig. I don't know if you can kill this guy off. Unless you manage to root one Meepo and focus it down, he is just going to be able to jump in aggressively and just taunt you with that Dig.
They really don't want to buy back on Ken right now. It's tough. You die back on the TA, that's game over. NGXE certainly have the push with this Meepo available. More Earthbinds flying out onto the Undying. Hoof stolen by Lucify. Arena down. They've got the Undying once again. Jump in immediately and they burst him down. Still no buybacks being committed. They are just trying to hold slowly but surely. In comes JG now with the Ember Spirit. Gonna avoid the Earthbinds once again. Slider Fist doing a fair bit of damage as now Lucify's got the Earthbind on his own side of things. Midrax still standing. Ken's up in 5. Lucify, lift up onto In Your Dream, trying to force him into the T4 towers. They'll get the melee barracks, and that'll be enough for the side of NGXE. Though Rupido, he'll jump in. He has not seen enough yet. Ken's incoming. Can they actually punish the side of NGXE? Not quite yet. Midrax down. NGX, they will not risk it. Backs against the wall still. They're one game down. They have to play it safe.
Yeah, you can respect that out from NGXE. They just build their advantage. They hold on. XERXIA, they're starting to run out of options here to hold on to this Meepo. Like, they need to be able to root. They need to be able to focus one while someone else is digging and just try to get that damage on. And Ken is really just doubling down on that damage for the butterfly next. Still needs a lot more gold to get that done. I think we need to see a little bit more durability out from Rupido. He is going for the Assault Curious next. The Halberd is a very good solution to deal with, say, In Your Dream in this case. But it does feel like they lack a hero that can just stand up and draw fire right now. And they've been trying it with Teehee. The Undying still feels a bit squishy, although he is rushing into the Ags himself. So strength steals up to 8 is pretty damn good. And that can, again, soften up the Meepo to a nice amount in a extended fight, but we're not seeing those extended fights come out. They tend to go very quickly for NGX's way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's Dota Plus thinking throughout all this, Jonathan? What's the stats? 90% NGXC's way? That's fair enough. I think that's fairly accurate right now. I wonder at what point Ken can actually really just try and dominate this this Alacrity Meepo and the Ursa at the same time. It's just so hard. Feels like the game's just on his back. You see JG trying his best throughout the fights to chip away with the Sleight of Fist. Hence the Maelstrom build-up, but even with that, it's just not enough. You need more than that. NGXC. Hold that Dire jungle. Smoke is out. 5-man smoke here. NGXC. Problem is, no one's outside of the base here for XERXIA. I say that, but they smoke up as well. So perhaps they're about to venture out. Line has been drawn right into the Dire triangle, but NGXC are already there and waiting. They have the high ground. Teehee, he breaks his smoke. In your dream, immediately with the bash in, does get the Undying. That'll be enough. They want to back out now. They will not fight without Teehee up.
They need that Undying. They need to soften up. They need that Tombstone to kind of just provide some distractions, some much needed slows coming through. Love the build up here from Mizu. Got his own Heaven's Halberd. So now Ken isn't just free to stand and hit now, as it hasn't really been a free game for him either. With all the spear backs from Mizu, with all the control coming through, the TA's just not had an easy time at all in this game. And Mizu's aiming to double down on that and just make it even tougher. Push on the bot tier 2. Creep wave incoming. Backdoor is going to be gone soon. So you should be able to start to dig into the high ground once more if they want to on NGXC, but they might just opt to wait for next Roshan again. Like, they've got the time, they've got the advantage, 13k up. They will go for the smoke though, so maybe that pick off first.
Just a casual double damage rune sitting at the bot rune spot as well. No one from NGXC seen that quite yet, sadly. Ken knows about it because he's got the trap there, but he can't make his way over there, sadly, either, so nobody's going to get the rune. At least not yet. Big wraparound. JG going to go for the TP out. Does make it out. Very nice timing for him. Immediate counter smoke. Here we go, XERXIA. They have not left buyback gold on Ken. This could be a last-ditch attempt in this game number 2. They did buy out the full MKB here. Here we go. Dire jungle. Teehee looking to place a ward up. Does have the tombstone. Will drop it immediately, but Boom Boy tries to get it down immediately as well. Lucify with the lift up onto Jokam. Meanwhile, chains out onto Alacrity, but JG's been caught out. They've got the Ember. Ooh. Force stuff onto the high ground. He's fine for now. Poison Nova. Boom Boy. He'll pop it immediately. Nobody actually dying yet, but Ken. He's been caught now. He'll pop his BKB, but he's been disarmed. He cannot hit them. This is not the fight they wanted. Now Mizu jumps in again. The arena, the spear, everything being thrown. Ken is down. No buyback available. It's Rupido. He will keep fighting. He has no choice in the matter. JG's going to buy back, but the Earthbind's immediately there. BKB forced out. In your dream, he does die in the Ursa, but what does it matter? They've got Rupido down. JG trying to run. He's Earthbinded up. He's gone. Do you call it?
Yeah, it's a hard game to turn around from for XERXIA. Side of NGXC, knowing there's no buyback on JG and probably knowing there's no buyback here on Ken, should just go for the tier 4s. I don't see a good defense coming out. Yeah, Laracti goes for it. Buyback from Rupido. But how do you stop this Meepo?
Immediate spear out Rupido. He's going to try and delay this as much as possible. Tombstone is down. TA down for another 30 seconds. It's such a hard defense to ask for. Slowly trying to chip away at Alacrity, but it's just so difficult. Rupido just being abused here by Mizu. Speared right back into the fountain. Mizu tells him to just go home. Go home, as the Ancient is under siege now. They at least found Jokam on the Snapfire, but Alacrity's the main problem. Rupido is still trying. He makes the jump in. It could be a dieback though. The Earthbinds are out, locking him down. He's gone. The TA, 5 seconds away. The Undying barely surviving with the Ghost Scepter. Lucify, he's back. Here's the buybacks. Ancient's still exposed. Ken's back into this one. He'll go with the Side Blades trying onto Alacrity, but the Ancient is being focused by the Meepo. This game is looking over. They can't stop it. Arena to make sure. Wow, wow, wow. NGXE, they will force this to a game number 3 here against XERXIA. And John, it's one of those best of 3 kind of days apparently. You love to see it.
Yeah, it goes all the way. NGXE, they fall back to that Alacrity special, go back into the Meepo, and he does a fantastic job, but I want to say